Life is not a motivational quote. It's not sunshine and six-figure dreams. Life is a battlefield, and your mind is the only weapon you've got that doesn't rust, doesn't jam, doesn't run out of bullets, unless you let it. You don't master the mind in comfort. You don't sharpen steel in lukewarm water. You sharpen steel with fire. And that fire is hell dot, but that's the secret. That's the truth most people run from. The only way to master the mind is to walk straight into hell and not quit. Everybody wants results. Everybody wants change. Everybody wants to rise, but nobody wants to bleed. Nobody wants the nights alone, the early mornings when it hurts to get out of bed, when your body is screaming and your soul is cracking. But guess what? That's the price. And grit is the currency. Grit is waking up with no applause, no spotlight, no cheering crowd, just pain and saying, good. Now, we work. See, most people hit resistance and they fold. They hit the wall and turn around. They fail once and say, maybe it's not meant for me. They fail twice and say, I gave it my best shot. No, you didn't. You gave it until it got uncomfortable. You gave it until it pushed back. Let me make this clear. Your mind is the enemy. It will lie to you. It will beg you to stop. It will tell you that you're done when you've got 60% left in the tank. The mind is not your friend until you force it to be. How do you force it? You suffer. You embrace pain not once, not for a moment, but again and again. When your lungs burn, you keep running. When your muscles shake, you keep lifting. When you feel broken, you rebuild with no blueprint, no help, just will. You don't wait for motivation. You create discipline. You show up when every cell in your body is screaming no. You do the work when nobody's watching, when nobody cares, when the world's forgotten your name. You get up and grind not because someone told you to, but because you told yourself to. That's grit. Grit is choosing the hard path every damn time because you know that's where the growth lies. It's knowing that comfort is a lie, that ease is a trap. The easy road leads to average. The hard road. That's where warriors are made. You think greatness is a talent. No, it's a decision. It's choosing hell over mediocrity. It's dying to who you were so you can become who you're supposed to be. It's the grind when the dream fades. It's the work when the goal seems too far. It's staring failure in the face and saying, is that all you got? Because the truth is, failure is not final. Quitting is. Let me say that again. Failure is not final. Quitting is. You can fall 1,000 times. You can lose, you can cry, you can bleed, but as long as you keep stepping forward, as long as you keep crawling, keep pushing, you're still in the fight. And that fight, that's what transforms you. We all have hell. Some of you are living in it right now. Depression, poverty, loss, doubt, pain. You wake up and the weight on your chest feels like it's crushing your soul. You look in the mirror and you don't even recognize the person staring back. And the voice in your head says, it's easier to quit. Just give up. But listen, that voice is a liar. You are not done. You are not broken. You are in the fire. And fire doesn't destroy warriors, it forges them. You want to master your mind? Then go through hell and refuse to let it change you into something weak. Let it reveal the beast within. Let it bring out the grit that doesn't bow, doesn't break, doesn't back down. Some of you need to stop negotiating with pain. You need to stop asking life to be fair. It won't be. It never was. You want results. Earn them. You want peace. Fight for it. You want to be a savage. Then be one. No one's coming to save you. No one's handing you discipline. No one's handing you greatness. You have to take it. And you take it by outlasting everything that tries to destroy you. When the storm comes, and it will come, you don't pray for it to pass. You stand in it. You embrace it. You say, I was built for this. Because you were. But only if you believe it. Only if you decide right here, right now, that you're done quitting. Done complaining. Done playing small. That you will outwork, outlast, and outgrind everything that stands in your way. That's what it takes to master the mind through hell. So go ahead, walk into the fire. Walk into the pain. Walk into the fear, the failure, the fatigue, and don't you dare quit. Because grit is the only way out. Comfort is a lie, growth lies in pain. Comfort tells you that you've done enough. That today you can coast. That you deserve to take it easy, to relax, to enjoy the rewards without earning them daily. Comfort whispers in your ear, you've worked hard. Take a break. You've earned it. It offers you warm blankets, soft couches, and zero resistance. But the truth is, comfort is the most seductive trap you will ever face. It's not your friend. It doesn't care about your goals, your potential, or your greatness. Comfort only cares about now, and now is where dreams go to die. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It doesn't happen when everything is going well, when the sun is shining and your schedule is wide open. Real growth begins the second things get uncomfortable. When your legs are shaking, your lungs are burning, and your mind is begging you to stop, that's where it starts. That's the line. And most people will back down right there. They'll say, this hurts. I'm done. But if you can push through that pain, if you can look discomfort in the face and keep going, that's where you grow. That's where strength is born. Pain is not the enemy. It's the teacher. It shows you the truth of who you are, not who you say you are, but who you actually are when it counts. When things are hard, when nobody's watching, when there's no finish line in sight. The pain strips away the layers. It peels off the ego, the excuses, the stories you've been telling yourself. It reveals the raw, unfiltered version of you. And in that moment, you have a choice: evolve or retreat. Comfort is where potential is buried. How many people have you met with talent, intelligence, and opportunity who never do anything with it? They don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they never get uncomfortable. They live safe. They avoid hard conversations, hard work, and hard truths. They chase dopamine instead of discipline. They numb themselves with entertainment, distractions, food, anything that keeps them from sitting face to face with their own pain. And in doing so, they cheat themselves out of who they could become. Growth, real growth, demands suffering. It demands repetition, discipline, struggle. You want to be mentally tough? You want to be great at anything? Then you have to be willing to suffer daily. To seek out resistance, to lean into things that make your stomach churn and your heart race. Not once, not when it's convenient. Every single day, because that's the battlefield to get strong and forged. Not the gym, not the classroom, not the office. The battlefield is within, and the war is waging discomfort. People talk about finding themselves, but you don't find yourself. You build yourself out of pain, out of pressure, out of persistence. You build yourself by stepping into discomfort and refusing to back down. You build yourself by looking at comfort and saying, you will not own me. Because once comfort owns you, it controls you. And once it controls you, it destroys you from the inside out. Comfort gives you temporary peace and permanent regret. Pain gives you temporary struggle and permanent strength. You have to choose. And make no mistake, it is a choice. Every morning, every rep, every mile, every moment you choose whether to lean into the pain or escape into comfort. There's no shortcut, no hack, no easy way around it. Growth demands a toll, and pain is the price. That's why comfort is the real enemy. It disguises itself as self-care. It pretends to be balanced. But what it really does is steal your edge. It robs you of the chance to become something more than average. It puts you to sleep with a full belly and an empty soul. It tells you the journey's over when it's barely begun. Your mind is your enemy until you train it to obey. The mind is a master manipulator. It's built to keep you alive, not to make you great. Its number one priority is safety, preservation, comfort. It doesn't care about your goals. It doesn't care about discipline. It doesn't care about legacy. The mind will always choose the path of least resistance unless you force it to take the hard road. That's why by default, your mind is not your ally, it's your adversary. And unless you learn to dominate it, it will dominate you. When you set out to do something hard, run farther than you ever have, study longer, build something from scratch, your mind will be the first to throw up resistance. Not your body, not your environment, your mind. It'll tell you you're tired when you've barely begun. It'll exaggerate pain, amplify doubt, and replay failure on a loop. It will present you with excuses wrapped in logic. It'll say things like rest is productive, you're not built for this, or you've done enough for today. It disguises weakness as wisdom. That's the game it plays. And if you're not aware of that game, you'll fall for it. The untrained mind is soft. It seeks validation, avoids pain, and runs from fear. It operates on emotion and impulse. It reacts instead of responds. It chases short-term pleasure at the expense of long-term growth. The untrained mind says, I don't feel like it, and uses that as a final verdict. But the truth is, feelings are not facts. Just because you feel tired, scared, lazy, or unmotivated doesn't mean you get to quit. It just means the enemy inside your head is trying to win. And if you want to achieve anything beyond average, you have to kill that voice before it kills your potential. Training the mind starts with awareness. You have to catch the lies as they come. You have to observe the excuses, the distractions, the fears, and refuse to obey them. That takes repetition. That takes being in the fire and not flinching. It's not enough to talk tough when things are easy. You have to prove it when it hurts. That's when the mental training happens. When your legs are cramping, your lungs are burning, your will is breaking, that's when you reprogram your brain. Not with motivation, with action. Every time you override that quitting voice, you're laying down a new mental track. Every time you go one more rep, one more mile, one more hour of effort, despite what your brain says, you're taking power back. That's what obedience looks like. Your mind starts to realize you are the master. You give the orders. You decide what happens next, not some ancient survival instinct trying to keep you soft. And let's be clear, this isn't a one-time thing. You don't conquer the mind once and call it done. This is daily combat. The mind doesn't stay trained. It reverts the moment you get complacent. So you have to be relentless. You have to keep sharpening it like a blade through discipline, suffering, stillness, focus. You have to treat your thoughts like they work for you. And when they show up with weakness, you fire them on the spot. Most people will never know who they could have been because they never broke through the barrier of their own mind. They never called the bluff. They never said, I hear you, but I'm going anyway. They let the internal resistance run the show. But for those who do train the mind, who build the discipline to act in spite of doubt, fear, and pain, they unlock a level of power that changes everything. The workouts get harder, the days get longer, the mission gets tougher, and still they move forward. Not because they don't feel resistance, but because they've mastered the response. The mind will always test you. It will always look for cracks. But when it learns that you don't fold under pressure, that you don't obey fear, that you don't quit just because it hurts, that's when it starts to work for you. That's when the war becomes winnable. That's when you stop reacting and start commanding. Failure is not final, quitting is. Failure is feedback. It's a moment, not a sentence. It's data, not identity. But too many people confuse it with defeat. They fail once and decide they're not cut out for it. They hear no and take it as the end of the story, instead of the beginning of a better one. The truth is, everyone fails. Everyone stumbles. Everyone takes hits. The difference between the weak and the relentless isn't who falls and gets back up when everything inside them says stay down. Failure is not what breaks you. It's quitting that does. Quitting rewires your brain to accept less. It teaches your spirit that surrender is an option. Every time you quit, you reinforce the belief that giving up is easier than pushing through. And that belief starts to shape your decisions, your habits, and eventually your identity. You become the person who almost did something, the one who nearly broke through. You become someone who tells stories of what could have been instead of living proof of what's possible. People fear failure because it exposes them. It shows the world they tried and didn't make it. But real strength comes from trying again in spite of that exposure. In spite of the judgment, the embarrassment, the pain. The ones who go the distance aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who fall 100 times and rise for the 101st. They learn to love the lessons hidden inside the pain. They get addicted to the grind, not the applause. They know every failure sharpens them. Every loss humbles them. Every setback prepares them for a bigger leap forward. Quitting is easy. It's the comfortable exit when things get hard. It doesn't require effort or discipline, just surrender. But quitting costs more than failure ever will. Failure is part of the path to mastery. Quitting is the decision to leave the path altogether. It trades temporary relief for permanent regret. And that regret eats at you. It shows up in quiet moments and sleepless nights in the mirror, asking what if? What if you had kept going? What if you had just held on a little longer? What if that breakthrough was just around the next painful corner? Those who keep going understand that success is not built on wins, it's built on endurance. On the ability to suffer without backing down, to fail, adjust, and try again with more fire. They understand that every person they admire, every legend they look up to, walked through failure after failure without losing momentum. They weren't immune to pain, they were just immune to quitting. And that is a choice available to everyone. Not just the gifted, not just the chosen. Everyone. It's not the most talented that rise. It's the most relentless. The ones who keep swinging when they're tired. The ones who show up when it's dark and nobody's watching. The ones who make failure part of the process instead of the end of the journey. They know that each time they fall, they gain something: perspective, strength, clarity. Quitting gains you nothing but the illusion of peace. It lets you walk away, but it also guarantees you never find out what was possible had you stayed. When you make quitting a non-option, your mind adapts. It starts to look at failure differently. It sees it as necessary, even valuable. You stop fearing it. You stop avoiding challenges that might lead to it. You lean into the hard things because you trust your ability to endure. And in that mindset, you become dangerous not because you don't fail, but because failure can't stop you. You become unstoppable, not through perfection, but through persistence. Not through ease, but through refusal to quit no matter how brutal the path becomes. Discipline outlasts motivation. Motivation is a spark. It's loud, bright, and fleeting. It shows up when conditions are perfect, when you're rested, inspired, or something external lights a fire in your gut. But motivation fades. It doesn't survive bad days. It doesn't show up when it's cold outside, when you're sore, when life gets heavy. Motivation is unreliable. You can't count on it to carry you through the grind. If your mission depends on motivation, you're done the moment life punches you in the mouth. That's why the people who achieve the uncommon don't rely on it. They rely on discipline. Discipline is silent. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't ask for permission. It shows up no matter what. It's the alarm clock at 4:30 a.m. It's the second workout when your legs are toast. It's studying when your mind is tired, grinding when the crowd is gone, pushing when nothing around you says to keep going. Discipline is execution without emotion. It's showing up because the mission demands it, not because you're in the mood. The problem is most people are emotional workers. They train, study, work, and perform only when they feel like it. They ride the wave of motivation and wonder why they keep crashing. They wait for the perfect moment, the right song, the ideal mood. And when that moment doesn't come, neither does the work. So they stay stuck. They stay soft. They stay average. But discipline is the separator. It's what builds monsters. Because discipline removes choice. It removes the debate. It says we don't skip. We don't flinch. We don't wait. When you operate with discipline, the results become predictable. Maybe not fast, maybe not easy, but inevitable. You stack wins, you stack reps, you become consistent. And that consistency turns into identity. You stop saying, I'll try. You start saying, this is what I do. It's not a negotiation, it's a rule. You don't need hype videos. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need someone to clap for you. You just do the work again and again and again until it becomes who you are. Discipline is forged in discomfort. You don't build it on good days. You build it when everything in you wants to quit and you go anyway. When your brain is screaming to stop and you hit one more rep, one more hour, one more round. That's when discipline is formed. That's when you send a message to your mind, we go no matter what. Discipline is not natural, it's trained. You earn it through sacrifice, repetition, and grit. Motivation gets you started. Discipline finishes the race. It's the glue that holds your ambition together when motivation runs dry. When the feeling fades, discipline is what keeps the mission alive. It's what makes the difference between the guy who talks and the one who delivers. Between the girl who dreams and the one who dominates. Because the truth is, the world doesn't care how motivated you are. It only responds to execution, results, output, and only discipline delivers that day after day. People who rely on motivation will always be inconsistent. They'll always have a reason why today isn't the day. But people who live by discipline become unstoppable machines. Not because they're superhuman, but because they've made the decision to show up no matter how human they feel. That mindset wins in the long game. That mindset doesn't crack under pressure. That mindset builds a legacy. No one's coming to be your own rescue plan. Waiting for someone to save you is the fastest way to drown. Most people spend their lives hoping for support, for the right mentor, the right opportunity, the right moment. They look around, waiting for someone to validate them, push them, believe in them. But no one's coming. Not the perfect coach, not the miracle moment, not the cheering crowd. You're not owed rescue. You're not owed a shortcut. You're not even owed understanding. What you are owed is the truth, and the truth is this: if you want out, you have to climb. People love the idea of external saviors because it's easier to blame someone else when nothing changes. It's easier to point to circumstances, to parents, to the system, to the past, and maybe all those things are real. Maybe they've been holding you back, but the moment you keep pointing at them is the same moment you give them control over your life. You hand over the keys to your future and wait. And while you're waiting, time passes, chances die, and the weight on your shoulders gets heavier. You have to accept brutal ownership. No one owes you a better mindset, a second chance, or a way out of your mess. If it's going to change, it has to start with you, with your choices, with your effort, with your daily war against the weakness in your own mind. It starts the moment you say, "This is on me." Every second of pain, every missed opportunity, every ounce of potential I've let rot, I own it. That's when the shift happens. That's when you stop waiting for life to get easier and start getting stronger. Being your own rescue plan means you don't hope for motivation, you build discipline. It means you stop waiting for the right time, you make the time. It means you stop asking for permission, you give yourself the green light. It's you versus the clock. You versus your limits. You versus everything inside you that wants to stay small, stay broken, stay the same. And when it gets hard, when you don't retreat, you don't cry for help, you dig. You suffer forward. You bleed with purpose. The mindset of self-rescue isn't selfish. It's necessary. Because once you learn to save yourself, you gain the strength to help others, but not before. You can't lift anyone up when you're still laying in your own excuses. You can't lead when you've never led yourself. You don't earn respect through potential, you earn it through proof, through actions, through battle scars, through the ability to say, "No one handed me this, I earned every inch." People will tell you to slow down, take it easy, not be so hard on yourself. They're wrong. If you're not hard on yourself, life will be. If you don't demand more from yourself, the world will demand less. And slowly, without even realizing it, you'll settle. Settle for a job you hate, a body you resent, a mind you don't trust. You'll build a life of survival instead of one of power. And all the while, you'll wonder why nothing changes. No one's coming. That's the gift, because once you accept that, you stop waiting. You start moving. You start crafting the kind of resilience that doesn't shake when life punches you in the teeth. You become the kind of person who doesn't pray for the storm to pass, you learn to love the rain. Because you know in the deepest part of you that survival was never the goal. Domination was, and domination only comes to those who are willing to rescue themselves over and over again.